Because research has repeatedly proven that phonemic awareness and alphabet recognition are two of the best predictors of early reading success, at our library we decided to create backpacks highlighting a particular letter of the alphabet that focused on those two concepts in a fun way. Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'm a children's librarian in the mountains of North Carolina. For 3 years, I was the project manager of an IMLS LSTA grant-funded project that we called Alphabet Ready, and these backpacks were just a very small part of what we did during that grant timeline. If you're curious to know more about that, I will link to more information about the entire grant in the video description below. But these videos that we've created are part of our way to document what we did during that grant, and we hope that they will provide that they'll be helpful in some way to librarians or teachers or parents, anybody who's working with children and desires to strengthen the skills that will make it easier for them to learn to read, and thereby take advantage of all that the public library has to offer. So I will start with this backpack, which we created in the first year of the grant. And we have books in the backpack that have in the title a word that begins with the letter C, which I'll show those to you, show the specific titles that we had in just a minute. But we also filled the backpack with manipulatives because we know that it takes many different experiences and many different ways of interacting with these early literacy concepts to actually make a solid pathway in the brain for some children. So the first thing that we put in every backpack was an alphabot. So this is the letter C, and it can transform into a robot. And these have been so popular with children. Parents keep coming in and asking us where they can get a complete set because their children enjoy that resource so much. So I will link to that resource in the video description as well. And then we also have in this backpack a magnet board that helps children pull the magnetized ball around in the shape of letter C, so that they just have another way to become familiar with the shape of letter C and the difference between a capital and a lowercase. We also include in the backpack a letter C puzzle that just has 5 pieces, and I had that pulled out because the pieces fall out. We also included a puppet that starts with the letter C, and the letter C, capital and lowercase, are featured on the puppet. And then a letter C sewing card. And a resource that we created was, we found these flannel boards, foldable flannel boards on Etsy, and then we purchased some felt letters and found some felt pieces that children could use so that they had a little game of separating out which words start with the sound of letter C and which words start with the sound of letter D. So that way you're just limiting it to 2 letters that they have to try to discern between. And then we also created for each backpack a tip sheet so that parents would have an idea of some other things that they could do with the materials in the backpack or around focusing on that letter. So we've got a song that they can sing about letter C, and an alphabet knowledge or phonemic awareness tip, and then on the back some more fun extension activities that they could do that would also be one more way to focus on the sound of letter C or the shape of letter C. So let me show you some of the titles that we chose. And again, this is not to say that you should choose exactly these titles if you were to create a similar resource. We just, again, wanted to give you some place to start, a place of inspiration. And if you have some other suggestions, books or items that could have been put in a backpack or a resource like this, if you would include those in the comments below this video, that would just make this video a richer resource for anybody else who stumbles upon it. So one of the books that was in the backpack was Who Took the Cookies from the Cookie Jar? And we prompt the parents to have their children go on a scavenger hunt and try to find the letter C in the title of this book. And then this is a familiar format story with a little different twist. Then who took the cookies? The jar was full. Where did they go? Oh, now I know. And there's a clue on this page to who they suspect. Raven took the cookies from the cookie jar. So that is a fun story to share, and the rhyming helps with the phonemic awareness principle as well. Another book that we included was Cows Can't Fly, another rhyming book. Ms. Crumb said cows were far too fat, that facts were facts, and that was that. So this little boy is the only one who sees the flying cows in this story. Who ate all the cookie dough? By Karen Beaumont, which I love her books. Who ate all the cookie dough? Another rhyming book. Llama, llama, do you know? Who ate all the cookie dough? I don't know, it wasn't me. Maybe cheetah. Let's go see. And I wanted to point out that the C in the word cheetah does not make the k hard sound of C. So this is an opportunity to just help children understand. Again, they're not going to learn everything there is to know about phonics, but they're going to become more aware of how letters behave and how letters behave when they're alone and how they can misbehave sometimes when they're in words. And if you want more information about that idea, visit Katie Gardner at The Secret Stories. She's got a lot of YouTube resources out there that will help explain to children why some of those letters misbehave. All right, cookies, bite-sized lessons. Love Amy Krauss Rosenthal's books, and this is one of my favorites. Again, this book helps with expanding children's vocabulary. So, for instance, on this page, cooperate means, how about you add the chips while I stir? So there's a great C word, cooperate, and a great way to explain what that word means. And we know that the more words that children know, the easier it is for them to learn to read, because they're not guessing. They have more options to pull from when they're decoding. So cows in the kitchen is another favorite. And again, after they find the letter C, they might notice that cows in the kitchen, K makes the same sound as C sometimes. And again, shouldn't be a troublesome thing. Just say, yeah, there's different kinds of dogs, Dalmatians and Chihuahuas, but they both bark. So here's two different letters, but they both make the same sound. And this is a favorite because you could sing this book, and I love books that are also songs. So cows in the kitchen, moo, 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 cows in the kitchen, moo, 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 cows in the kitchen, moo, 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 what shall we do, Tom Farmer? And the last book I have to share with you is Clara Caterpillar, and this is by Pamela Duncan Edwards. I love all her books. I love the alliteration and, again, the rich vocabulary. So here's an example from her book. One day, a cream-colored butterfly laid an egg on a cabbage leaf. "Grow up to be courageous and contented, Clara," she called to her egg as the wind carried her away. And I would ask the children, what do you think courageous meant? Or what do you think contented meant? And I wouldn't disrupt the flow of the story and ask too many questions, but definitely once or twice to enhance vocabulary for the children. So that is all the resources in our Year 1 backpack. In Year 2, we were working in the schools, so we asked the kindergarten teachers, if we make another set of backpacks, how would you like for us to do them differently? And they said they would like for the books in the backpacks to be more STEM focused and to have lower level readers in the backpack. So we tried to include at least one lower level reader. But we also wanted to have some different manipulatives in our Year 2 backpacks. So we started off with these Lakeshore magic boards, and then we included one printing practice card that was on the focus letter, and the children, this gives them again an opportunity to notice the shape of the letter and the differences between the capital and the lowercase letter, and then after they have practiced, they can just erase and practice again or have some fun with writing other letters. Additionally, in each backpack, we tried to include a game. And in this backpack, we included Pete the Cat, Cool Cat math game with some real simple, easy little game that could be played in 10 minutes. And then we also had a tip sheet for our STEM backpacks, but we wanted them to be a little bit different from the tip sheet that we had provided in the first year. So that's the directions for the Pete the Cat game. Let's see if I can find the tip sheet. Here we go. The letter C tip sheet. And on the back of these, we included a RAN board, which RAN stands for Random Automatic Naming. And we made them in lowercase, and because we had done so much with uppercase alphabet recognition. And the idea here is just to play a game where the children become more automatic in being able to name the letter or name this or say the sound associated with that letter. And then we link to Heidi Songs, which is where we got this idea, and you can actually purchase RAN boards from her website, and I will link to that in the video description as well. So in our effort to honor the request of the kindergarten teachers, we tried to find some early readers. And again, Can I Have a Pet Crocodile? Try to find the letter C in the title, and then a much easier text in this style of book. This is a Gareth Stevens book. And then from Abdo, we had the zoom in on animals, so caribou. Let me show you what the text looks like in the zoom in on books. Very little text on the pages. And cardinals in the same series. Capybaras in the same series. Count It, Counting and Comparing book. Another one from Abdo. It looks a bit like that. Then we also, I love Karma Wilson's book, Bear Counts, and Quack and Count by Keith Baker. What I love about this book in particular is they take the same set of numbers, 7, a total of 7 ducklings, splashing, and they leap, as they leap and dive, 7 ducklings, 2 plus 5. And on each page, the 7 ducklings are slightly rearranged, and then I'll often ask the children, how many ducks are there now? And it takes them a while to realize that just because you rearrange the ducks, it didn't change how many there was in total. So I will usually, when I'm doing this in a story time, I'll bring 7 little pom-poms with me and kind of put 2 pom-poms on this side and 5 on this side so that they can see that visual representation of the ducks. And then I move those pom-poms as we go through the book. And then at the end, the ducks fly away and you can gather up those pom-poms and throw them out to the crowd of children. And then our last book in this backpack is Counting Crocodiles. And again, I love the rich vocabulary. But the monkey was suspicious, and the bananas looked delicious. And again, I would stop and ask about 1 or 2 of the vocabulary words in that book as well. So that is there's the contents of our 2 backpacks. Again, if you have any suggestions of what you think would make that resource even richer, just leave those suggestions in the comments below. If you have questions that I did not address, please, I'll leave my email in the description, and you could email me with any questions you have. If you found this video to be helpful, if you could give us a thumbs up on YouTube, that's a great way to say thank you. And that's all I've got. So in the words of Tigger, ta-ta for now.